Welcome back, everybody. Thursday morning edition of Hot Mic off and rolling. Mike Hendrickson, I can say now former Fargo South boys basketball coach, will join us in about an hour. Looking forward to that conversation. We're talking plenty of golf here with the Masters getting underway. I'm super pumped to have our first guest on today after she won for the third time in college, second time this year for the Bison as they get ready for the Summit League Championships to begin a week from Sunday in all places in Arizona after years of playing in Kansas and Nebraska when the weather's been trash, I'll say it. They get to play in Arizona. Senior Elise Hoven joins us this morning after picking up her second win of the year earlier this year. Can we say the conditions were tough earlier this week in Nebraska?
I think we can. It never got above 45 degrees on the 36-hole day, and it was really windy the last day, so I would say pretty tough.
Does that make it, though, more satisfying to play the way you did and win when it certainly was tough out there?
I think so. I was pretty proud of how myself and our team really stuck through it. I mean, it was really difficult out there, so pretty happy.
Would you say is your best golf been this year? I mean, it seems obvious you've won twice to save your best golf for your senior year. Is that an oversimplification of how things have gone for you?
I think so. I think when you're looking at it and you realize that you don't have that much time left, I think that kind of puts a lot of things in perspective and want to appreciate the moments while I can. So I think so, yeah.
So to describe this past week and what that was like, go out there knowing last regular season meet. I mean, you're saying that there's only so many competitive rounds left to go out there and play the way you did. Was that in the back of your mind at all, or did you have to put that aside?
A little bit. I think we had a smaller field in Omaha, and I think as a team we knew we could do well, and then individually it was in the back of my mind, but honestly I was just thinking about our team the whole time and how I just wanted to see them at the end of the day because I wanted to talk about how much we had gone through during that 36-hole day. It was really tough. So I think it was in the back of our mind, but ultimately we're just focused on the golf at that present moment and everything.
To have this kind of run at the end, tell me about now the anticipation for next week, about to go out there, play as well as you did. What kind of confidence level you have right now?
I'm pretty confident. I think even though we played pretty well in Omaha, we still left a lot of shots out there. It's pretty easy to say that with the conditions that we had. But I think we're peaking at the right time. You know, we still, even though we've had a really good spring, we haven't had a tournament where like, oh my gosh, this was so great. I think so. I think we are peaking at the right time, and we do carry a lot of confidence knowing how deep we are as a roster that anyone can play well, and we don't have to do anything super out of the ordinary to compete at conference. So I'm excited to get down there.
I'm always intrigued about this because it's an individual sport, but this is a team aspect of it. How do you blend that together where, yeah, you want to play well, but you want your four other teammates to play well as well?
Yeah, it's crazy because you're out there and you're not playing with each other
Yeah.
most of the time, and it's all you, and then but we're back to back on all these holes, so we see what each other are doing and we're giving each other like our bison signs and everything. But ultimately at the end of the day, it's I want my teammates to do better than I am or even the same. So it's crazy to kind of compare the two because it's really different compared to every other sport.
Tell me about coming to NDSU out of Wisconsin. How did NDSU come on the radar? And when Coach Johnson was recruiting you, how did this all come about?
Yeah, so when I was getting in the recruiting process, I knew a couple older players that played here, and I was like, I just don't know why anyone would want to go to North Dakota. And then I came here on my visit the middle of
Oh,
January.
there you
It was
go.
like 20 below. My parents were like, if you want to go, you got to see it like in the middle of
It's
winter.
a good point.
So I
Yep.
went, and I was like, now I know why people like come here. It's just the people, I think, really make the place. It's a different feeling compared to every other school I visited. The the facilities. I mean, coach was just great. I didn't really have a lot of interest in coming here, and then I started talking to him more, and he just kept pursuing me a little bit more, and then kind of just fell in love with it, honestly.
So I'm interested to ask about recruiting in the golf world because we talk all the time with football, basketball players, hockey, baseball. What is it like? When did you realize, okay, I want to play collegiate golf? And then was the attention there, or did you have to seek schools out?
A little bit of both.
Uh,
So I played a bunch of sports growing up, and then probably about like eighth grade, I was like, okay, I could do something with golf in college. And I started working a little bit harder with golf. And then college recruiting for golf is a little bit different. I feel like you have to be more proactive than other sports, probably for sure. So yeah, I reached out to a lot of schools. Um, and ultimately I came down to like I went on only like 2 or 3 visits.
yeah.
I didn't have a lot of offers or looks in high school. So ultimately this was just the easiest and best decision
I,
ever for me.
I g- it's paid off. I got to ask, Coach Johnson put out some video earlier this year of you hitting inside the indoor practice facility. Can you give us the lowdown on, can you let it rip in there? Because I've been in there. I mean, can you let it fully go and just hit it as hard as possible?
Yeah, so we're in there. It's they've put up nets on all it's all blocked off with nets, which is really good for us golfers. And so we can hit every club in the bag. We play games to see where we can hit it on the ceiling and everything. And you can see about 75 yards of ball flight. So
Okay.
it's pretty nice. And we try and hit our drivers between the field goals, and it's a very cool environment in there.
How much does that, can it actually get you ready for actually playing golf, or is it's nice, but it's not what I actually need?
It's it's very interesting. I believe it gets you ready for tournaments for sure.
Okay.
It's obviously so much different than being outside, but I think I like it better in there than like say a simulator because you can see ball flight, you can kind of feel how you're hitting it and see the results of what you're feeling and then where it's actually going compared to a simulator, which is nice. So I think it gets you tournament ready for sure.
Tell me about your game where you've grown when you got here 3.5 years ago. Where is the biggest leap in your game to now when you go out there and play? If you were to go back and watch video of yourself from 3 years ago, what's the biggest change in your mind?
I would for sure say I've always been a really good ball striker. Driver and irons have pretty much always been pretty solid, and I think my wedges and putting have gotten way better since I've been here on campus for the last 4 years. We hit a lot of wedges in the IPF in the winter, hit them into nets, hit them into tarps. So that has just gotten way better. I can't even begin to say how much it's improved. So
As a Wisconsin girl, tell me, how proud are you? You won the Wisconsin State Open last summer. Where is that on the list of achievements for you personally to have that?
it was really cool. I've been playing in tournaments, like Wisconsin tournaments for since I was about 13 years old,
Mm.
and to have that win last summer, it was kind of a reassurance of what I was doing was correct because I hadn't really been in contention for a while. I was starting to have a lot of doubts about what am I doing? Is it right? And to have that week was really special. I actually had my teammate Maddie Hicks on she was caddying for
No
me, so
kidding.
that was really cool as well.
We got to see Maddie play a couple times up here at the Red River Amateur, which she was in contention for at Morehead Country Club last summer. What was that like to have her? How much did that calm the nerves with her on the bag?
She is just such a calming personality. I think we didn't really talk about golf at all until I was standing over the shot or like walking into the shot. And I was pretty calm all day until I got to about 15, 16 on the back nine. And that's when she was so instrumental as a caddy because she was like, you just need to hit this shot, hit this club, here's the yardage. And I will be forever thankful for her in that moment.
To have that, how much do you feel that propelled you to this year to have that kind of win?
I think it helped a lot. I don't think I haven't been doing anything differently since that win or before that. I think it's just the confidence that I
Yeah.
gained from that is really um feeding into my game now. I feel more comfortable doing things. I'm not as nervous over the ball. And I think it's just helping me as well as like I'm just not as anxious as a person anymore, I guess.
We followed Avery Bartell's career pretty closely here from Kindred, who's now your teammate, a freshman at NDSU. What do you tell her about what freshman collegiate golf is like? She's had a lot of success, much like you did before getting to college. What is that transition like? How has she adjusted in your eyes?
I mean, Avery's just such a great teammate. First of all, she puts the team first in a lot of aspects, and um, I think the sky's the limit for her. Honestly, she has such a great game overall, and I think her going to these tournaments across the country is really good for her. She's gaining a lot of experience, and I think the next 3 years are just going to be so huge for her.
All right, so now it's Summit League this coming next week. How do you, expectations wise, knowing this is it, last run as a Bison? What are the emotions you think going to be stepping to the first tee next week?
Uh, I think it's going to be exciting. Denver's been pretty good in our conference, but the rankings are as close as they've ever been in a couple years. They've lost a bunch of players last year, so I think it could be interesting. I'm excited for the opportunity. It's basically win or go home at this point, so I'm excited. I
And
think
you're not going to
some
have to worry about like negative 30, right? Or at least even 40
exactly.
degrees, right? In Mesa, Arizona, you'll be all right with that.
As long as the weather's warm, I'll be very happy.
Last thing for you. So after this, are you thinking to keep playing? What's your status for your future in golf?
I think I'm gonna do a couple qualifiers this summer, see where that takes me. But right now I'm just really trying to enjoy each moment
Yeah.
out here. I love this team, I love the people, so I'm just trying to stay present, I guess.
Okay, I have one more because I always ask golfers this when they come on the show. You've got one club to play a hole. What's the club it's the only one you can use for the entire hole. What's the club you're using?
I gotta go probably 7 iron.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Have you ever been forced to putt with anything besides a putter? Have you ever had to do that?
I have forgotten my putter on the previous hole. I don't know how you forget a putter, but I have had to use a sand wedge for like one putt, but then I ran back and got it.
How'd that
So
go? How'd the putt go?
I think it was like a 3 footer, and it
Oh,
lipped in. So I was happy about that.
went to the hole. It's all that matters. Congratulations on the win earlier this week. Thanks so much for the time, and good luck next week at the Summer League Championship, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Elise Hoven joining us, NDSU senior golfer, two-time winner this year. The Bison heading out to Mesa, Arizona. That's a week from Sunday. It starts on the 20th in Mesa, and we'll see what happens. They've got a dynamite lineup. We know Maddie Hicks. We've covered her, and obviously Avery Bartels from her great high school career. And you have to remember, she's a freshman that's wrapping up. Maddie's a junior with the Bison, who I believe finished second or third at the Red River Ram last year. Speaking of the Red River Ram, by the way, before we go to break, we're on a big golf theme. Chris Howell from Moorhead Country Club will join us tomorrow on the show to get us ready for this year's Red River Amateur, which, of course, we'll be bringing to you in the middle of June. We'll be here before we know it, which is kind of crazy to say that out loud. We'll break. We come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. Got a couple emails to get to as well. Back on Hot Mic on a Thursday morning right after this.